Welcome to week 13 of Year 6 Home Learning. We hope you're all well. This week we're going to be looking at decimalisation as our theme, based in the 1970s now. Our decades have moved on and our history is driving the theme of our unit this week. Our reading comprehension kicks us off on the decimalisation and the change from shillings and crowns to pounds and pence, how it occurred, when it occurred, and there's some images there of the money and what it used to look like. Then we've got a poem for you to answer some questions about. We haven't done poetry for a while, so this will keep your comprehension skills sharp in different areas of your English. As always, Miss Eddleton has created a history video for you to watch this week, which informs you about decimalisation, what took place in the 1970s and why it happened. And then you've got a couple of sheets here that she's put on the Google Drive, which asks you to do a bit of conversions, and you've got the task sheet there to complete. The second history task asks you to look at commemorative coins. The Royal Mint occasionally produce British coins that commemorate or celebrate a particular person or event in history. We'd like you to design your own commemorative 50p piece. The writing task this week continues our money theme, and we'd like you to consider what might you do with £1,000. Would you tell anybody? Would you tell your friends? Why or why not? How do you think people around you might react? How do you think it might make you feel? And then we're going to ask you to consider what you might do with that money. Spend it, save it, give it away, donate it to charity, invest it in something. All of those things are things for you to consider in this week's writing, and you're going to be writing a discursive piece. There's an example right on the Google Drive which I've included here, so you can have a look at different ways you could consider spending your money and how you might write that discussion piece. And then we've given you some sentence openers and some emotive vocabulary. Money might make us feel certain ways. You might feel proud if you've given something away, but you might feel happy if you got to spend money on things that you really enjoyed. So something to consider this week. This is what your spag sheet will look like this week, and you're familiar with that format. And then the spelling task this week is another word search, but with different endings, looking at adding endings to refer, prefer and transfer, and what that does to the R in the middle of the word when we add a suffix ending. This week in science we're looking at famous conservationists. You've got Jane Goodall, Sir David Attenborough and Steve Irwin, to have a look at some examples of writing about these famous scientists who specialise in the area of conservation. Your task this week is to look into famous conservationists, people who you feel inspired by in this area of science. We would like you to create a fact file in a biography type style, but you can do this in any way you want to. If you want to create a PowerPoint with information on, similar to that you did for Darwin earlier on in the term, or you might want to put a leaflet together about this particular individual, or you can write a biography for which your skill set was put together last week in last week's English task. Whatever you decide to do, we're asking you to investigate, find out about their lives, and then share that knowledge with us. There's a STEM task as always this week, which involves cleaning a penny, so you'll need to get your money out in order to do some cleaning this week, and I think you're going to need some Coca-Cola to have a look at that and see what you need to do. This week's maths revisits problem solving, so here's the task sheet and the lessons follow on with the videos. Your arithmetic papers will be a bit different this week. I've put together 5 pages of some core bit maths, each with 5 or 6 questions on, and then there are answer sheets to match those as well. They test a variety of different areas of your maths, so you'll find they're not pure arithmetic. Some of them are problem solving as well, and measures and so on. So a good revision of lots of different topics for you. For those of you wanting greater challenge, there's the Year 7 math sheets on the Google Drive and a couple of challenges that Mr. Cole has put together there. You've got star sum, and then your second challenge is Louis 8. Have a look at those, and the answer sheets are on the server if you want to check those out. Your computing for the next few weeks looks at algorithms, and Mr. Gooding has put together a video which he'll share on YouTube. Have a look at that for your next few weeks' tasks, as he's explained them all on the video. When we first introduced the Swinging 60s, we talked about album covers, and this week's art topic relates back to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, when music was largely sold by the decorative artwork that was drawn on the cover of the albums. So take a look at this week's art challenge and you can design your own. So that's this week's Learning Year 6. We hope you enjoy the theme of decimalisation and discussions around money. You will notice if you access the Google Drive this Monday morning that not all the activity sheets will be available to you. That's because we have different children coming in groups on Monday and Tuesday, and then a second wave of children coming in Wednesday, Thursday. What we would like to be able to do is hang on to some of the sheets so that we can teach them in school. So if the sheets are not available on the Google Drive, then that's because you're going to be doing the learning in school instead. By Wednesday, all the sheets will be available to all the children, and this means that if you're learning from home, then there'll be a second wave of sheets that go up for some of the foundation tasks. If you are learning from home and you don't come back to school, we look forward to continue to hear from you and receive your learning because we love to hear from you. And if you are coming back next week, then we look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye-bye.